How's it going, guys? Travis and Ashton here from Tacklebros. Welcome to the very first annual Tacklebros award show. So this is where we're going to award some brands, some products, some rods, some reels, some lures, everything. This is where we are going to choose I feel like we're kind of the frontline guys. You know, we get to
right out there.
We get to see this stuff first. We can kind of see.
Got to fish it all.
We get to fish everything.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of the other like awards things, like all the ICAST stuff, I feel like that's not it's not accurate.
It's political, no?
It is political, no? Ravenga.
I know that guy.
Okay, so what we're going to do every year is we're going to come up with different categories. I mean, this year, how many categories do we have?
20 plus?
Yeah, we have 20 plus categories. Some are based on sales, some are based on opinion, some are based on, fishability.
Oh, yeah.
Some are based on what you guys picked. We did put out a poll earlier this week. I feel like I maybe waited a little bit too long to put the poll out.
But we did.
I should have put a couple out throughout the thing.
Throughout the season.
But we got a decent amount of feedback where I thought it wasn't skewed. And then everybody in the store also selected their top three.
Top three baits.
And then we're going to single it down to one.
Oh, yeah.
Although I am waiting on Chris, so hopefully he gets back to me before the end of this. Now, there's no prizes. This is just, I feel like, a better representation of how, at least, I mean, we're a little bit different because we don't carry a lot of the North American brands. I would say this is more of a pro shop's opinion.
This is like if you want to be the best at fishing, this is the list you want to use.
Okay, that's a bold statement. Now, we don't hate any of the North American stuff.
No.
You know, I caught a lot of fish on Strike King stuff.
Yeah.
I still catch a lot of fish on some Berkeley stuff.
Yep.
We carry Z-Man like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's not bad stuff. We just
we like a niche-y thing.
We just like JDM.
Yeah, we like what we like.
So a lot of this is going to be JDM. I think all of it. There's There's also a category in here where we kind of picked the best. I think I did it. I planned on doing it if I didn't do it. Where we selected the best North American product. I hope I did it. I'm going to double check.
We'll find out.
If we didn't, it's okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to start probably with rods and reels, and then because I think the baits are the best ones.
I think so. We'll get
Rods and reels we can just kind of slap out really quick. Yeah. And then the baits we're going to spend a lot more time on because, I mean, we can educate you guys on the baits and go over a little bit more in detail because we actually use these, how we fish them, rods, reels, the whole thing. Now, this is going to be an annual thing. We're going to do this probably the last week of the year. This one's just going to happen to fall on Christmas Eve, which is, it's pretty cool. Listen, you also need to come more to the middle. You're part of the show, buddy. Look at this. Look at how short you are.
I'm very short.
All right.
Thanks, man. They didn't notice before. Well, now they all know.
Okay, so we have our laptops here that says all the categories, all the winners have already been predetermined. Maybe one day we can actually send some of these brands a little prize. That'd be funny.
Oh, yeah.
Send them a little plaque.
Tacklebros official.
Yeah, the Tacklebros.
Congratulations, you made it into our name.
You've made it. Yeah. Should we start with...
I got best spinning pulled up.
You got best spinning?
I got best spinning reel off 2024 pulled up on my computer here.
Okay, now, we also... There's no real rhyme or reason to anything. Some things are based on just new stuff. Some things are based on everything. Mm-hmm. Maybe for next year we'll come with something a little more structured, but I actually like that we're doing this a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more inclusive. A lot of it is to do with more like, especially rods and reels, I feel like we lean to more, although best rod overall doesn't really lean, but we do have a category for new rods, and we do have a category for budget rods and reels. So
yes.
Do you want to read out the best budget rod nominees, and then we'll go to the...
Okay.
The winner.
Let me get it pulled up. Okay.
So this is sub 150 Canadian, which is like right now, like $100 US.
Fair.
Okay. Yeah. No, not fair. That's what it is.
Okay, I don't know that. I didn't look it up.
You gotta pay attention to the EX, man.
So the nominations are for 2024 most budget-friendly rods. You have the St. Croix or St. Croix Triumph.
Not Croix ever. It's St. Croix.
Depends on where you're from.
Okay.
The Shimano SLX. Strong contender.
Which they did that. They really, when they redid it this year, I think they actually did a good job.
Oh yeah, phenomenal job.
Changed in some of the models changed out. The blank looks nice. Yeah, I think they did actually a good job on it. For 150 CAD, was it probably like $100 US?
Something around there.
Yeah.
And then the Daiwa Tatula XT.
Another one that's great. Tons of like the amount of
technology in it for the price.
I was gonna say the amount of actions in it are is crazy. They added all those new BFS ones at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so the best budget rod for 2024.
The Daiwa Tatula XT.
Okay, woo.
Congratulations, Daiwa. Did a standout job on that rod.
Oh yeah. So the reason why I love the Tatula XT, it's a very light rod, so it actually punches well above its price point.
Yes.
Which is like, it's like, I don't know what it is US. It's gonna be like $80 US. It's $119.99
CAD.
Yeah. So that rod, in my opinion, punches way above its weight class. It's lightweight. I'm not a huge fan of EVA foam, so all of these except for the St. Croix have EVA, so that wasn't really a deciding factor in this, although it did give St. Croix a slight bump for me. Our actual order was the Tatula XT, then the SLX, and then the St. Croix.
Triumph.
The Triumph isn't anything new. I don't know when the last time they did it. The XT was done last year, and if we had done this last year, it would have won as well.
100%.
It's such an easy rod to put into people's hands. The second that people pick it up, you feel like you're buying like a $250 rod.
I was gonna say they could have priced at $199. No one would have batted an eye.
Well, so I don't know if it fishes like a $200 rod, but it feels like a $200.
Feels like a $200 rod. I've used them to try them out.
That's true.
And I will say it was good for $119. You're never gonna complain about it.
Right.
It's a good rod for the price.
So a great entry level rod. The one that I would recommend to everybody, if you pair that up with a Tatula CT, you are on the money. If you're looking at I'm not going to say the spinning because we'll get into the budget spinning. I believe we do have that. So yeah, Tatula XT, the winner of the best budget rod. The best new rod lineup of 2024. Now there's a bunch of submissions. We kind of got it down to 3. These are obviously going to be high-end rods. We deal with mostly high-end stuff. And if we're all being honest with each other, if you're putting up a $200 price point rod up against $500 price point rod, math says the $500 rod, generally they've spent more time on it. It's better built, has better components. The actions are going to be crisper. It's going to be more sensitive, lighter, all that stuff.
Math is math.
Yeah, so the top 3 that we have come up with, and these are brand new rod lineups or revamps, right?
Yep.
So we're going to be looking at the all-new Shimano Jackal collaboration Poison Adrena, the G Loomis GLX lineup, which I actually thought they did an amazing job.
Phenomenal job.
They did good with adding in models that they didn't just have in the NRX, because the NRX is going to cannibalize them.
They put like in between
like different
rods and
like different lengths of drop shot rods, and they just tried some new things. So I thought they did a good job. And then the Orochi X10, which this Megabass, completely new, I don't know, technology in rod blanks. They did something really cool, which Megabass is not really known for, where they sort of built a double action into all the rods. I think they did a great job. I think some people were thrown off maybe by the blank thickness, not understanding
that, because it's a new material that they're building the rods out of. It is a bit thicker, but it's as light as if you make it out of the old graphite.
I didn't notice like a weight difference. This is actually a material they used to build like high-end cars with. So I don't know if it was Porsche or if it was BMW.
It was BMW.
Yeah, BMW.
BMW used that same material.
Similar material, obviously in a different application. So those are the 3. The Poison Adrena also, I think they did a good job adding some models. I wish they added a few more additional ones, especially on the spinning side. I feel like a lot of these companies really think that you only need 3 or 4 spinning rods these days, which that's not the case for us.
No,
we
need a lot of spinning.
Yeah, and I get that casting is obviously more
predominant.
It's more demanding on rods. You do really need different rods for casting, where spinning you can kind of make it up with. But I think at the level that most of anglers are at today that are really like buying into these sort of rod lineups, that's the guy that wants a drop shot rod, which they all obviously have, but maybe they want a Ned rig rod, a spy bait rod, a hair jig rod, and some of them do cross over, but it's nice to have
individualized.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd like to see a lot more 7.6 medium lights. That's all.
100%.
Okay. All right, so the 3 are the Orochi X10, GLX, Poison Adrena. Who is the winner?
And the winner is the Shimano Poison Adrena.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that they did a great job on the styling. Also, they remained crisp, but somehow became lighter, which is something you always want. You always want light, sensitive rods. Poison's always been that. Now, for some people, it's a little bit of a, love-hate with the Poison. Shimano doesn't do a lot of great strolling rods, in my opinion. They actually have a really good one in the Poison lineup, but a lot of guys don't like the monocoque handle.
That's what I was going to say. The handle's a bit funky on the new Poisons.
I like the handle, though. I love monocoque.
I love monocoque, too.
Yeah. So I actually really like the feel of that handle. Some guys talk about it slipping in their hand. I've never had that. I've owned Poison since...
You've owned Poisons for
years. Forever. Yeah. So, huge fan of Poisons. I wish they did some more spinning models. Hopefully we can talk them into doing some longer ones. But overall, a great rod lineup. I think everybody did a good job this year. Like what I was saying earlier, those GLXs with those new sort of drop shot actions. They also did some new Carolina rig actions. Yep. It's the best styled Loomis rod in my opinion. I love that bronze gold color that they chose. It just kind of tied everything together. The problem with Loomis is if you make anything that NRX already has, it's going to be cannibalized.
100%.
Which I understand because, I'm a heavy NRX user.
Yep.
A lot of us are in the shop. But they did a good job filling in some gaps that were maybe missing with some different lengths and models. And then the X10 again, I've fallen in love with a couple models in there specifically because of the versatility, which is not something you usually hear when you're going with a, mega bass rod.
They're very technique specific, those guys.
And that's why you go with them.
Yeah.
Because, you're like, hey, I want the best of this, I want the best of this, and you just one rod. Now, they can always do a couple different things, but
they're very good at the one thing they're designed for.
They're the best at it.
Yes.
They literally are the best at it. And that X10 was sort of Megabass dipping their toe out of the technique specific, and I think they knocked it out of the park. I love the feel of it. Some guys were, iffy on how the actual grips were. Yeah. I love cork, so it was nice. An easy transition for me. I thought the rods were really crisp, and I liked the overall selection of powers that they did. Again, I'm always going to push for more spinning, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, the spinning on the Orochi X10 is very light. Like 4 or 5 models, that's not...
Yeah, I think there's literally 5 models.
Yeah, I think you could definitely expand into that. I think the problem with the GLX is that the price point's a bit too close to the NRX.
Yep.
Other than that, good rod. Definitely the X10 is the X10. I love the X10s. We've used them.
Yep.
And it's funny, when the one rod we used for mid-strolling turned out to be a phenomenal drop shot rod.
Yeah, and I like it better for drop shot.
I like it better for drop shot too. Yeah. And then the Yamakagashi, which was also kind of designed a mid-strolling rod. Phenomenal mid-strolling rod.
Yep.
So...
Okay, so that is the best new rod lineup category. Now we should have 1 or 2 more rod specific ones in here. Okay, we could do best selling rod, and then we'll do the best rod lineup because that's our opinion.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so we're gonna do best selling rod. Now, we obviously went through every rod, we added everything up. Keep in mind, due to the nature of our store, this is gonna be different from a lot of other stores where, you would see some, I don't know, I feel like SLX would be so popular everywhere. Now, there's other ones that got redone this year, so stock was very limited. This is based on our sales, what the #1 selling rod was.
Yes.
Okay, so should I go with series and model, or should I just go series and then we'll deal with model with the winner?
I think we'll just do straight series and then series with the model for the winner.
Okay, you read out the series.
Okay. So, the top 3 nominations we have are the G Loomis NRX, the Megabass P5, and the Raid Japan Anti-Gladiator. Gladiator Anti.
Yep. Okay, so the winner of that category, of course, it's the Megabass P5. That's been our #1 selling rod 2 years in a row now. The #1 selling model was the Flissa.
Yep.
Naturally, again, that's that 7.6 medium light. It's the most versatile spinning rod that you can possibly have. I own several.
Yep. And I want several.
Yeah. I'm just a bit of a Flissa nut.
The thing is with a Flissa, there's no other rod that exists that is like a Flissa. A Flissa is a Flissa.
Agreed. It's almost like, I've talked with some guys that are, Megabass guys, and I've talked with some Loomis guys, and, I love my 901.
Yep.
I love my 902. The Flissa is a 901.5. It's crazy how it literally slots so perfectly in between. It's, it's not my favorite hair jig rod, but guess what? I could throw a hair jig on that and never bat an eye.
Yep.
It's, not my favorite Nico rig rod, but if I need a Nico rig with it, no problem. Is it my favorite Okashira rod? Yes, not even close. Is it probably, if it's 1A, 1B, I don't know which one it is for throwing spy baits, especially in that 70 size. That rod is just so good at so much stuff. It does a lot of the technique specific spinning application so well. You can drop shot on that rod.
Listen, they make a lot of 7.6 medium lights.
Yeah.
But there's only one flisset.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was very sad when it went away, and then they brought it back. Thank you. Yeah. So congratulations to the Flissa. Okay, next up is going to be the best rod line. This is our opinion of our favorite rods in the shop. Doesn't matter if it's new, doesn't matter if it's old. Most of these happen to be new because we were spoiled this year by so many companies coming out with awesome, either upgraded series, new series, what have you. The 4 nominees are going to be the Shimano Jacko collaboration Poison Adrena, the Megabass P5, the Daiwa Zillion, so that's that new sort of mid-high price point, monocoque handle, beautiful styling rod, and then the Raid Gladiator Anti. So those are the 4 nominees. Who's the winner?
And the winner is the Raid Gladiator Anti.
Naturally.
Of course.
So this is the only rod lineup that has really broke into my arsenal. Now, do rods come into my lineup all the time? Yeah, like I bought, I don't know, half a dozen X10s this year. I bought, 6 or 7 of the Poison Adrenas. We had GLXs. Dude, how many? I mean,
zillion.
We went.
You fished them all.
Yeah, like me.
We try them all out.
Exactly. The only one that is like this rod's great for certain situations, or the only one that wasn't like, oh, this rod's great for me, but it's not going to replace something, was the Gladiator Anti lineup. Now, usually it's like 1 or 2 rods. Like they always kind of stay in. Like the GLX, like I like that 892. You know what I mean? That was the rod that I was like, oh, this is a dope rod.
We'll fish with it.
Yeah, like you get the point. A couple rods always stick around. The Gladiator Anti has, like, that Navigator has been amazing. Frogman's been amazing. I even like the Undertaker. Like, there's so many great rods in that lineup. I wish they would do more models in the Gladiator Maximum lineup. Like, I love my Max Queen. That is my day in, day out, mid-strolling rod. I've not found anything that can even compare to that. You like the Fixer.
I love the Fixer. That's my rod.
So that's kind of why we chose that as the winner. I'm very harsh on rods, and I do feel bad sometimes when I give feedback because I don't hold back.
It's honest. It's honest.
Right. I just want everything to be the best.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And to enter in my lineup, I'm very spoiled with the type of gear that we get to use. The Gladiator Anti lineup has been phenomenal, and I've been really enjoying it. Let's go to reel lines for 2024. So these are going to be new reels that came out in 2024.
Yes.
Okay, let's start out with the nominees. So we did 3. There's a ton of them that came out. These were the 3 that really stood out to us. The first one is going to be the 24 Steez SVTW. Steez, I don't know. There's not much to really say about this crazy line, compact,
well built, very durable, extremely light.
Right.
Just a good reel to have, no matter what you're fishing, when you're fishing.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're also going to have the Daiwa Tatula. This is going to be the SVTW as well.
Yep.
So this is that SV boost with the T-wing system, obviously.
I think if you get a Daiwa, it has to have the T-wing system on there.
I don't know why you'd buy it without it.
Yep.
I mean, I know some guys don't say that their line bounces around. I've never really had that problem, but it's definitely a
Makes
necessity.
a big difference. Yeah.
And then the third one is going to be the 2024
Metanium DC70.
The 70 size. So a size that I really like to use. Metanium is one of my favorite reels. That's probably the core of my fishing.
That is, yeah.
Of my bait casting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Do you want to announce the winner?
Now the winner is the Daiwa Steez SVTW.
Right. So the reason why we went with the Steez, it just has that that wow factor when you pick it up.
That's literally what I was gonna say too.
Yeah, so it has an ultimate tournament drag that a lot of guys really love. It's buttery smooth,
Cast a mile.
It's super compact. That SB Boost spool is one of the best spools in fishing. They just do such a phenomenal job on it. I don't know, like hyperdrive design. It's super efficient. It's a beautiful styled reel as well.
Looks good. Like when we took it out to test it out, we were throwing those really tiny jerkbaits on it.
Yep.
Cast this thing a mile. Spool was great.
Yep.
Never backlash. Easy to set up in terms of actually feathering it in. So
My only critique on it, and then this is something that is only probably relatable to me and guys like my size. I think it has a 90 mil handle. I just think a bit bigger
110 handle.
It's also a smaller reel, so I understand that. But for like my personal preference, I swap a lot of handles out, and that is something that I did when I got the reel. So again, Steez has been creeping into my lineup a little bit more.
Switched them out.
I still love my Metaniums though.
They are good.
I'm likely not going away from them anytime soon, but Steez is a phenomenal option. They knocked it out of the park this year, 2024.
Absolutely.
Okay. We also have all our lists up on the computer. We're not just typing. We're going to go with the best spinning of 2024. So these are raw reels released in 2024.
Redone.
Or redone, or like if there's a specific model or anything like that. We got it down to 3.
Down to 3. The Daiwa Surte, the Daiwa Kage, and the Shimano Vanford. The all-new Shimano Vanford.
Easy winner.
Easy winner, Shimano Vanford. Yep.
Yeah, so the Vanford A. Let's start out with the styling. I mean,
phenomenal styling.
Amazing job on the
Big
styling.
improvement.
This doesn't seem like something that you should care about. I care.
I care too.
Yeah, like I want my reel to look good on my rod, and does it help with performance? No, but is it badass to have like a cool looking reel? Like I don't want a lime green reel. The biggest thing for me actually is something that I feel is overlooked. That anti-twist fin. We do so much stuff where I feel like that comes into play. Like when you go to click down your bail, man, from the slack line, and it jumps, this will just keep your line directly butted up to the roller. So that was probably the biggest. I mean, now listen, there's X Ship, which came down from Stella. There's Infinicross, which they've reduced the teeth and done all this other crazy Infini-Drive. Like all these technologies came down from Stella, which is great.
Without getting technical.
What you need to know is this is a better reel. The two things for me is that fin and then the Duracross drag system. I've always been a big fan of the way felt feels, but I went a lot of times with carbon drags because
it was a bit smoother.
It's durability. Shimano has somehow figured out how to give you the feel of a felt drag washer and the durability of a carbon drag washer. That is invaluable. I can't wait for that to come to everything. I'm probably going to go end up in seeing Giles here and getting all my accences switched over to that. So, that's a really cool feature. Now, what is my favorite reel of all time? Shimano accents. That's not changing. But this was the best reel of 2024. Best selling reel we're going to do next. We're gonna slap this one out quick. The best selling reel of 2024 is the same as 2023. These are going to be the 3 top sellers: the Daiwa Fuego, the Shimano Vanford, and then the new Tatula MQ. It was new last year?
I think 2 years ago.
Okay. The winner is the Tatula MQ. That's been our staple #1 selling, and it's by a lot. So, you guys seem to love the Tatula MQ. You love the Tatula MQ.
I have 10.
Yep. So, just a great middle price point workhorse reel that can really do everything.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't hate to have them in my.
Nope.
Great, amazing for the price.
Great for the price. I put them all, I put those on my high-end rods.
Yep.
And I have no issues with them.
That Fuego, man, for like the $130 Canadian or whatever it is a badass little reel too.
It is.
And then the Vanford, obviously. Yeah. I think this is one of the ones where it's not really stock dependent, but the rods was maybe stock dependent.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I think the X Pride would have probably creeped in there a little bit heavier if we had them more in stock.
To be fair, the Flistas are always sold out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, that is going to do it for rods and reels.
Yep.
Let's move into storage and accessories. Now we bundled this into one category. I didn't really want to spend a crazy amount of time on this, but there's been some really, really cool stuff that came out this year. And some of the stuff trickled in from last year because, again, we get to have a little bit of buffer. We never did this before. So we can kind of buffer stuff in. Let's go with what is the nominees for this.
Okay, so the nominees, we're going to do the Bubba scale. Right?
Yep.
Smart and the Pro one. We'll just
pull it together.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Bubba scale, the BKK OCD tackle storage box.
The whole system.
Yep. Right? And the OSP tool case 40.
I love that tool case.
Super
It's
stick.
great.
That's what made the list.
Yep. And they've actually done like a lot of accessories to go along with it.
You can add on and you can basically customize it to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do whatever you want with it. Build it to your own standard.
We all use that Bubba scale.
Every single one of us uses the Bubba scale.
It's great when you have I don't know which one it is, the Pro one?
Pro one, yeah.
We have the Pro ones. We do like little tournaments on the app. That's great.
It sucks because every time he catches a fish and I'm on my own boat, I get a notification saying he's caught a fish.
He has no time to fish. He's just looking at notifications.
Yep.
But the real winner here is that BKK OCD storage system. Hook storage has been a problem forever.
It's big.
What is?
Like the storage solutions for hooks. You got to carry a bunch of 3700s.
Yeah. It's big. It's not efficient. No. It's not organized. It's confusing. You end up having,
you forget which is what.
Yeah, like there's no way for you to I know the couple key hooks that I use, but if I go outside of that, man, and I'm just looking, I'm like, is that a 3-aught or a 4-aught or a 5-aught? This solved all that.
100%. Like you can, with that new BKK storage thing, you can just label each individual hook case. You can have how many boxes can you fit in that? Like
a ton.
40
it depends,
plus,
man. Because if you go with the small ones, it's more. If you go with the big ones, it's a little less.
So let's just say 30 plus. Yeah. Say figures. You can put a ton of different hooks in there.
This is the fully loaded kit. This one comes with 48 packs, and I know that there's room in here because you get the bracelet and a couple other things. So we'll say 50 to 70 probably, depending on if you go with the small ones. So. I love this thing, man, and I think BKK has done such a good job of breaking into
an untapped market.
Well, breaking into a saturated market, if anything, because there's so many hook brands that are great that everybody's been using, and then out of nowhere, it's like BKK, and then they come out with something like this, and they get the whole Armor Point series.
The thing is, they've designed something that just hasn't been out on the market before, right?
No, right.
So if you want something like this, you have no choice but to buy the BKK one.
Yeah, and I just think overall as a brand, they've done a great job, and it's not...
They've really come out of nowhere.
For what you get for this, now they're huge in salt.
Huge in salt, and that they're trying to dabble into fresh.
Yeah, so this is just one of those products that I actually strongly believe that every single person should be storing their hooks like this. So the BKK OCD system as a whole, the Armor Point hooks are actually really good too, man. And you know what? I'm a bit of a hook snob.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
Like you took, what, 3 3700s full of hooks and put them into one OCD box?
Yeah, Chris did that. Yep. And then I'm like, I've gotten all of my flipping, pitching, all of my basically... largemouth hooks are in one, and I have room.
There you go.
Which is crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, this is an easy win for me.
100%. Now we're gonna move on to the best new line of 2024. So the 4 nominations are the Sunline All Might. Used to be the fire. Now
which I cannot believe that came out this year.
I know, it's crazy.
When you told me, I argued with you. You're like, it came out this year. I was like, there's no way. I feel like I've been using it for 5 years.
Yep. So the Sunline All Might, the Sunline Overwatch,
great line,
and then the X8 Finesse and X8 Sinking.
Yeah. So
those are the 4.
And like it's an easily just those 4.
Yep.
Those are the lines that knocked it out of the park. I'm sure that, the Pure Fishing came out with some great line this year. I'm sure that Seaguar came out with some great line this year. These are the ones we really spent our time on. The
ones that we actually physically fished for a very long time to give it our honest opinion.
And stayed in our line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, go ahead.
You want to do the winner is the Sunline All Might.
Easy winner.
Easy winner, like no brainer.
I have that on
almost
every single one reel of my spinning reels. I really enjoy it. Now, something to think about with the All Might is it is by actual They do it by PE number. So, if you're looking at the 13 pound, you're like, oh, it's going to be close to 10 or even 15. No, you need to go way up. Look at the PE numbers. They'll say number 1.5, 2, 0.5, whatever it may be. Focus on that number. Pair it up with, like, let's say you're a
Daiwa, like 10-pound, fair what number that is.
Say you're an X8 Daiwa guy or you're a Power Pro guy. Look up the PE number if you're going to try this All Might. Pair it up to that, because otherwise you're going to get it. You're going to get wind knots. You're going to hate the feel. It is a very slick braid. This is also...
knots matter.
Knots really matter. This is the predecessor to the Defier, which was... Honestly, I did like the Defier slightly better. They still did a great job on this, and it kind of has the same principles. Now, the X8 overall, I would just say like the main X8 braid, one of my favorite like power fishing braids as of this year. Enjoy the finesse, enjoy the sinking. The sinking to me is a little bit more, it's not abrasive, but it's more of a coarse braid.
It is definitely more for coarse braid. Like, you gotta mix and match and play around with what knot best suits that line in particular.
Yeah,
we've had a couple slip.
Well, we found that FG or Alberto were the two
best.
knots that we really spent time with. All Might, I almost only tie FG, and I'm not like a traditional FG guy. I don't think that FG is the best knot in the world. No. I don't have that knowledge, but I know that FG works for that. The lines that came out that we have in this list, all of them are phenomenal. All of them are utilized by us.
And they're all on our reels.
Yeah, and all of us are using them in some form or facet. So, Sunline All Might 2024 best line of the year. Now, something else to consider is that this is our opinion. We're just, we're either basing this on sales, off of sales, or off of our collective opinions. If you guys are like, yeah, you know what? I just think that Power Pro is the greatest line of all time. Amazing.
Yep.
I love Power Pro. Grew up throwing Power Pro. Throw Power Pro on all of my muskie setups. So this is more of us we're just having fun.
Just talk about how we feel.
Exactly. Right? Okay, so let's go with best terminal tackle of 2024.
This one was tough.
This one was tough. This one was tough for some reasons, but easy for others. This was tough because we didn't know what to include.
Exactly. Like, to narrow it down was tough.
Right. It's because some of these things, Horizon LGs are on here. I've been using Horizon LGs for over 2 years now. They just weren't in North America. So we kind of based this off of North America. If you added SKUs to the product, we actually included those as well. So we're going to go with the Nishine Drop Shot. I'm just going to pull it in as one. They added in the weedless version and a couple new sizes. But that's in there. The Horizon LG, like I just said, and we'll do plus the weed guard as well. Just pull that in there. The Dual Realis BR head. So this is the Bay Rough. This is that winding
technique.
Yeah, like it's blown up like crazy all over the place. And then the Great Lakes Finesse Sneaky Underspin. This was our best-selling underspin last year. I can't remember where it is on this. If we'll get to it, but they added a bunch of new colors this year. That perch color they added is
phenomenal.
Lights out. There's some other colors they added as well, but that perch color was one that really spoke out to me.
Got us excited for it.
Now, let me check if we did this. Okay, we did not do best selling, but I believe that did take a factor in this category.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
So now, out of those four, the winner for the best terminal tackle of 2024 is the Great Lakes Finesse Sneaky Underspin.
Yeah, so, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Now, great for a lot of different species. I know I use that all the time in my US Canada walleye open that I do every year. Great for walleye even throughout the whole season. Smallmouth, obviously.
Yep,
largemouth, obviously.
We use this if we're using live scope. We use this if we're fishing bank. We use this if we're fishing shore, up against structure. It's a very versatile, compact.
Any depth.
Yeah, and the depth, they have a bunch of different sizes as well. The actual profile of it is pretty compact. I like they did gold blades. I like they did silver blades.
You know what else I like?
What?
You can pair it up with almost any trailer on the back.
Yep.
So a paddle tail, pin tail, straight tail, whatever you like, it works great.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those little pieces of terminal tackle that we always find, in the boat. There's other great underspins out there. I mean, I use a lot of liberos, but this seems to be the one time after time that you guys and our staff keep coming back to. So, sneaky underspin from Great Lakes Finesse. Awesome new colors.
I will
That's
say
the
this.
big thing.
You need to have the right rod for this thing.
It's true.
A lot of people say that they miss some hookups or they bend out hooks. You need to have the right rod and the right line to really utilize this bait to its fullest.
Yes, finesse, guys. So
Treat it like a spy bait.
Yeah, right? Literally, if you throw this on like a Flissa 901, any sort of 7.6 medium light to light, you're going to have a great time with this thing. Your hookup ratio is going to be awesome. Okay, let's go into most hype bait of 2024. Okay. I think that's a sick category. So basically, we took, obviously, sales numbers. We took, we have back order numbers.
Stuff on the internet, stuff that's just been talked about throughout the whole year.
Phone calls, emails. We kind of took everything into consideration when we picked this category. We couldn't come up with 3. We came up with 5.
Yeah, we got 5.
And this is, I mean, I could have done...
It's also all over the place. Like, it's not just one technique. I don't think it is.
Well, it's a lot of one technique. Let's put it that way. Look, read it.
I know, but you got 2 in there that's kind of a bit off there. But
right.
Okay, so
go.
The 5 that we have is the OSP dice rubber.
Sakura rubber dice.
Sakura rubber dice. The Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw.
Unreal that came out this year.
I know, I can't believe that came out this year too.
I feel like I've been fishing it for 10 years. Yeah.
The Depths Sakamata Shad. Now, the Raid Japan Fish Roller. And the Jackal Drift Rod.
Yeah. So
those 3 are the same.
So
those are similar.
A lot of mid-strolling baits. Understandable. This was really the year of mid-strolling.
It really was the year.
This is, I mean, again, a lot of guys have been doing it, moping, whatever you want to call it. It's been done for a long time. But this was the year that it was just like everything was about live scoping, mid-strolling. Like anything you read about bass fishing was like scopers, you know, strolling this, strolling that. People hate it. People love it.
Yeah, this is the year that Civil War came out. Bass fishing.
Ridiculous, guys.
Yeah.
You're fishing for this amazing resource. If you want to catch them like this, catch them like this. You want to catch them on a jig, throw a jig, man.
Let's go fishing.
I love throwing jigs.
Yeah.
And I love doing this.
Now, let's get into the winner.
Okay.
It was really 1 out of 3 here, but... Yeah. The winner is the Depths Sakamata Shad.
Yeah, pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Sakamata Shad, I think if we... I'm not going to say too much because it's obviously in some other categories later on, but easily the most requested bait that we've had. Sold out the second we got it every single time.
Had people just lined up waiting to buy them. It was crazy.
Literally, like the days that we would let them go on the drop, it would be like you'd wake up and you'd come in the morning and the phone wouldn't stop. So great job by Daps. They came out with some new sizes this year, which was cool-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we needed 2-inch ones.
I don't know if we needed 2-inch ones either. But listen, they are good for that little bready deal we have going on.
They are good with the bready. They are good for they'll be great for ice fishing.
They'd be great for ice fishing.
Yeah, let me know.
Crappie, perch.
Yeah. So Depth Sakamata Shad, most hype bait of 2024. I don't think anybody can disagree with that.
I don't think anyone can. Well, listen, I won't say anything, but you're right. No one can disagree with that. This one's pretty crazy.
So this is a cool category because we included it as I did not include any special colors. So our colors obviously not in there. Any of the one-time run stuff is not in there. Even if we were going to bring it back, like with our colors, like I would love to do lights out again. I believe we will. We didn't include those. So these are core colors. Now they could have been colors that were available in other before and they've come back now, or they could be completely new colors. But this is something that I love, man, because I actually like new colors of baits more than probably most people.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I have you know me, I have a very particular color I like fishing.
Well, you pressed me so hard on one of these colors that I had to include it. That's why we had to go to 5 instead of 3, but...
they are pretty
hey, it's a great color.
Yeah, it's a great color.
So, yeah, this category is one that I'm very excited about. I'm going to let you announce them, but I want to announce the winner.
Okay, you announce the winner. I'll tell you what company and what the color is. So, we have 2 from Duo Realis. We have Ghost Gold Perch and Ghost Wakasaki, especially the 70 size spy bait. That's when it was first released. Then we have the Nishine Smelthead, the new glow color that was just released 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Then we have the Missile Baits times Roboworm mini magic worm with the brand new green pumpkin money.
Is that confirmed new brand new?
Yeah, it's brand new.
Maybe it exists in Roboworm.
No, that's all brand new colors.
Oh, sick.
So all 16 colors that he did.
To be fair, that's the one you pressed me on. Sick color.
That's what I'm saying. When's the last time you've been excited for a green pumpkin?
Never.
Yeah, the last time I was
need it,
excited
but-
for a green pumpkin was Nishine's green pumpkin in a smelt head. Yeah,
Agreed.
right?
Dude, the green pumpkin money is sick.
It's such a good color. It really is. And then the Megabass Gilco. Now, the Gilco had been released prior
Used to be a 110 LBO, or used to be the 110 high float.
only.
I only know that because before I ever owned a store, I pressed Megabass in hundreds of probably annoying emails to bring this color out, and they were like, "We only released it in a high float. Leave us alone." So
And now it's a core color.
now it's
So the Gilco, Megabass.
maybe my emails worked.
You know what? When someone's that annoying,
2017 me, just give me Gilco. Okay, so all phenomenal colors. The winner is the easiest one for me. This is gonna be that Ghost Gold Perch from Duo Realis.
Yep.
It is literally, we cannot keep it in stock. The second we get it, they
Doesn't matter what
fly
it's
it. Doesn't matter.
No.
It is a super transparent.
It's a perch. Like,
But it's transparent.
It's a
and
lie. It looks
amazing.
so realistic.
Dude, I don't know how they did it. It's probably one of the best perch patterns I've ever seen in my life. Ghost Gold Perch, easy win. Duo Realis knocked it out of the park. They have some of the best paint jobs in fishing. I don't care what anybody says.
100%.
Phenomenal, 12 out of 10 color. Those new Nishine colors are phenomenal as well. That green pumpkin money is awesome. Ghost Wagasagi is awesome. And then Gilco, secret. Gilco has like a very special place to me.
You love that thing.
Again, it's just a perfect. It's actually more of like a bluegill color. So
Now listen, I will say this: when the Ghost Wakasaki first came out on the Spybait 70,
yeah,
it's the only color that I cast like 10 times and caught 10 fish on it.
that's true.
And it was Lake Ontario, but that color, I love that color.
And you weren't even like a big spybait guy until this year.
No, yeah, that color really did it for me.
All right, let's have a look at the best jig category. So what we've done here is basically compiled everything jigs.
Yep.
So bladed jigs, football jigs,
If it had the jig in the name, it was on the list.
Irish jig.
Don't get me started.
Okay, so we narrowed this down to 3. Listen, we all love football jigs.
Yep.
We all love flipping jigs. We're looking for something a little bit more. So we are gonna go from I'm gonna start going from position 3 all the way up to position 1. So
Fair.
in position 3, we have the Raid Igudama type level. So this is Raid's little micro jig. They also make a Igudama type cover, which is phenomenal. The type level really excels at what the namesake says, sitting level. So if you guys are, a way that they fish it a lot in Japan, yeah, like you watch any of the videos with Kanamori or any of those guys, they're hanging this over branches. It's sitting level in the water. They're kind of, shaking it up and down. Fish are exploding on it. Done.
Yeah, we
How
fish
we
it
fish it.
differently.
Yeah.
This is more like an open water target, like fishing category. Like we'll see a fish and scope, pitch out to that singular fish, let this kind of just drop right down to them, and that's how we fish it.
Yeah, in shallower water, we'll go with the 2.7 gram type covers and just let it really slowly fall. We also pair this up with sort of flatter styles of
baits.
trailer. Yeah, so we'll use, the 2-inch.
Bull flat from depth, 2-inch G-Crack bellows gill, the Raid Igudama and the Raid Avi 35 pair up excellently with these guys.
If we're fishing it on bottom, we'll go with that little 2-inch doe life craw. Yeah, so phenomenal style of jig. In position number 2, the all-new OSP metal bladed jig. So this is OSP's second offering in the bladed jig category. It's gonna look very familiar. Couple main differences that I want to point out. The head shape. So you're gonna notice here that it has a completely different shape head from that coffin style of head that you're used to fishing. What this is gonna do is it's going to allow that blade, while it's shaking back and forth like this, to clack off the side of the head. It's gonna give it better hunting action. It's gonna give it a different sound in the water. Also has a premium Gamakatsu hook and has a weed guard, which if you don't like it, take it out. That's what I do.
Nice to have the option.
Exactly. So this is P2. This thing paired up with a doe life craw, underrated, man.
It is.
Yeah,
It really is.
I don't even want to say that because that's how underrated it's been for me this year. And then the winner, if you guys have come to the shop and talked with us, this is no secret.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this isn't available everywhere right now, but it's going to be the B-Blade Narrow from Bumblebee. This is the 3/8 ounce size. It's also available in a 1/4 and a 1/2.
Specifically the narrow blade taking the best.
Yeah, specifically the narrow blade. So smaller, like this is, if you look at this, it's a smaller coffin style blade than you're used to. Very similar everything else to what you normally have in a bladed jig. The big key here is, number one, the skirt length. I love the skirt length. I also love the hook that they're using. They're using a Ryugi hook.
Nice head shape.
Exactly. The head shape is beautiful, comes through cover amazingly, and then that smaller size blade, this thing hunts phenomenally, has a completely different sound on the water, which we should release the video if we can ever find that bit of footage of us putting a full-size blade versus this. Is actually quite substantial, more than you would think. And then, yeah, it's just a bit more of a subtle hunting action on this guy. We love throwing for smallmouth.
100%.
And then the regular blade, I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So the number one jig in the store, again, this is a broad category, is the Bumblebee B-Blade Narrow. Okay, now let's look at some soft plastic baits. We're going to start off with the best-selling soft plastic, and then we'll move into our favorites.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so best-selling soft plastics. I'm going to go number 3 to number 1. So number 3 is going to be the Depths Sakamata Shad, which I have a pack right here. Pretty self-explanatory. The Sakamata Shad is kind of, it's the most hype bait of the year.
Went crazy.
I think if we had more, this would have been the number 1 selling soft bait of the year.
Sold out every time we had it.
Exactly. Yep. Number 2, which used to hold the title as our number 1 beta of the year, is the Hazadong Shad. Again, I think supply issues really hurt this one this year, but still came in the number 2 spot. It's that little 4.2 inch Megabass little swim bait. Realistic eyes, love that thing on a drop shot, love that thing on the back of an Okashira.
Good colors.
Yep, great colors. And then the number 1 selling soft plastic of the year is the Raid Japan fish roller. So this is including the super fish rollers as well. So all the way from 3 inch, actually all the way from micro up to 7.5 inch. This has just been one of those baits that has kind of completely reshaped a lot of people's fishing, including our own. We use this as, you know, from a bladed jig trailer to a mid-strolling bait to
drop shot baits.
Literally, yeah. So just a great overall bait. This won by a pretty substantial amount, I would say. Again, huge size range, similar to the Sakamata actually. Just one of those baits, man. That
it just works, and you have all the sizes to play with depending on where you are, time of year, color profiles. Are just a really good, well-designed bait.
Yeah, the 4 and the 5 inch are electric.
Yep.
So, yeah, number 1 selling bait. Now, let's go over to our favorite soft plastics, okay? Some of these were actually out of stock on, so I'm just gonna list them off. I'm gonna go from 5 to 1. So this one we did 5 because, again, we couldn't really
narrow it down.
It wasn't an agreeance thing, it's just we didn't want to narrow it down and disinclude something that we thought was very special. The Raid One Way, again, the dice style bait has been, you know, it's almost been overdone at this point. If you go to Japan, there is so many different variations of it. The One Way actually added something to the category, which I can really appreciate. They added that sort of crankbait style cup lip system, which just gives it a completely different action in the water.
Turns one bait into 2.
Exactly.
Right.
Number 2 is the Dual Realis BR fish, specifically in the 4 inch. In all the stuff that I've done with all the BR stuff, the 3.3, the 4, the 5, that 4 inch had the most.
It was the easiest to make work.
And it had the most wide bounce. It's, in my opinion, that's going to be the key size going forward.
I think so too.
Even past that 3.3 inch is obviously electric. The 5 will be very situational, but the 4 inch is going to be the staple that stays
every day. It's going to work regardless.
Yep, that's it. Number 2, the Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw. What a year it's been for Great Lakes Finesse. This bait came out at the Bassmaster Classic. Neither of us could believe that it's only been out for, you know,
couple months.
Yeah, 6-8 months or whatever it's been. I feel like I've been fishing that thing for 3 years. We've done so well on it. You know, early season, I know Chris had 3 fish over 7 pounds on it. I've caught a fish over 7 pounds on it.
I've caught a fish over 7 pounds
yeah,
on it.
like it's just one of those baits. We've done phenomenal in tournaments on it. It's really been. It was an easy slot into the arsenal because I mean, I love throwing tubes.
We all love tubes, and
yeah,
it was just something different.
and it pairs up with arguably the best tube head of all time, which is theirs anyways.
Did we miss number 3?
Sorry, that was number 2. Number 3 is the depth Sakamata shad. Again, you're going to see this over and over again throughout all of our stuff. It's hard to ignore a bait that has that much draw power to everybody. I mean, I don't think that a day went by where we didn't get asked when we're getting Sakamata shads. Almost all year. So many tournaments were won on it.
It was a very influential bait.
It literally reshaped how people fish. It was the leader in the entire mid-strolling category, followed by the Raid and followed by the Jackal. It's hard to ignore that bait. It's gonna be here a lot. So and then number 1 is the Raid Japan fish roller. So simply because that's the one that we reach for.
Yeah, 100%.
This is my go-to mid-strolling bait. This is my, if I'm throwing A-rigs these days, I'm throwing them on these, especially with that ghost wire. If we're drop shotting and I need something that's just a little bit different, I'll throw this. If I need a bait for an underspin, I throw this. It's one of the most versatile baits. Sits great in the water, has great colors, Shikoku.
Great colors, realistic eyes, multiple shapes, sizes.
The size range
Sizes,
is really the thing. Yeah, the size range is really the thing. And hyper rolling action. It's phenomenal. Our favorite soft plastic, the Raid fish roller.
Then we'll move on to the best-selling hard baits of 2024. We're going to go in reverse order here. We have the top 5, just because we kind of have to.
This is the best selling.
It is the best selling. Not our personal opinion.
Right.
This is going off facts.
Right.
In 5th place, we have the Megabass Pop Max. That was top-selling popper.
It's always been one of the best-selling poppers. That bubble trail that it leaves with the water coming through the gills.
Crazy
very
colors.
easy to work. Great hooks, great colors. Constantly new colors all year, every year. Staple, perfect size.
And then 4th place, again, top water, funnily enough.
My top water.
Oh yeah, 100%. The best top water that we've used. The Tackle Kick Knocker, again, great size, great colors, phenomenal hooks, walks super easily, really easy to work. Just a great overall top water bait.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. Colors and walkability. You're not beating a kick knocker.
In 3rd place, we have the OSP Blitz. Phenomenal colors. They have different depth ranges that you could pick them up in. I see why that was 3rd place. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. Now, some of the colors may be a bit loud, but they also have very realistic ones that will fish every day.
Best-selling modern crankbait, especially in our store. Like you said, size range is crazy. You have
depth range.
Size range and depth range. Like you have the tinies, you have the regulars, you have the
MRs,
magnums.
DRs.
Yeah, you have the EXDR, the DR, the MR, the shallows. Like you can live in Blitz and literally cover every depth.
Yeah, every column.
Exactly. And then you have that giant Magnum EXDR that gets down to like 30 feet, man. It's phenomenal lineup. Color lineup is on the money, dipped in honey, and that's it.
There's something else that's crazy.
What?
Something we've talked about all show.
Yep.
The Spinbait 70 is the 2nd best selling hard bait in
Spin
the
baits
store.
in general.
Spin baits in general.
Yes.
Okay.
So all of this stuff is like all the blitzes were together, all the spin baits were together, and then so
Fair. So spin baits by Duralis.
Yes.
In P2.
I don't think that it hurt that we put out 80 size customs, 70 size customs, and then releasing the 70 this year. The spin bait lineup in general, again, I feel like maybe it was starting to fizzle out as a category. Really revamped this year. Guys have been really catching them. We've been catching them. You really got onto them this year as well. Love the spy bait.
And then the number 1 selling hard bait off 2024. Outsold all of these combined. Like
not even close.
It is going to be the Vision 110 from Megabass. The best-selling jerkbait there ever was. The best jerkbait there ever was. The thing Megabass is known for. And the standard of jerkbaits, right?
Yeah. Now, maybe the action isn't for everybody. Maybe the action isn't right for every situation. Maybe the colors and the size profile or the depth or whatever isn't right for every situation. Undoubtedly, the Vision 110 is the staple. Like, there's some things in life that that is the bar. That is the bar, and it's not really had any competition. And honestly, by I mean, how things look, it's not going to have competition.
Nope.
You get something similar profile, and you save $15. It works like shit. You get one with a little bit of a different lip action. The fish want that specific one. You get a similar color. It doesn't look the same in the water. Megabass has really cornered the jerkbait market with, I mean, their size range is crazy. You've got juniors, +1s, you've got
max LBOs, you got silence, you got FX, anything you need.
You want really, really small, you can go with a Nanahan. Like their jerkbait, they are the kings of jerkbaits. That's it, hands down. Again, there's a lot of other great options of jerkbaits, but if you were talking about, the Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods of actual jerkbaits, hands down, the Vision 110. I personally like the Junior +1, but this is really the one.
Now here's the thing that you can't argue with facts.
No,
you guys made it the best jerkbait out there.
that's true.
You guys bought the most. I mean, you guys know how good this is.
Yep.
So just standing behind the numbers, that's all we can do, and we can confidently say this is the best jerkbait.
Guys that are like, you know what, I don't want to spend $10 on a bag of soft plastic. I get that.
Yep.
Guys will, buy different, bladed jigs and different like hook brand levels. One thing that most people don't negotiate on is Vision 110s.
I agree.
Okay.
And that was the best hard bait of 2024.
Yeah, now, and them also coming out with, respect colors every month and special run stuff and all that obviously helps them. But I think even without that, just 110s sells as much as everything else. And then you add +1s, +2s, junior +1s, juniors, the FXs. It's the best. So that was best sellers. Let's go with our hard baits.
Okay, what do we got?
I'll hold these three, and then you announce them going from.
We're gonna go. How many do we have? We have 2, 4. We have 5 again.
Yep.
This is just our personal. Well, we ranked the best hard baits in the store to be.
Yep.
I'll start with P5 here. We have the OSP Asura EXDR. Yep. Now we used this early season. We absolutely loved it. Caught a lot of fish on it. It's incredibly small but casts a mile. Incredibly easy to work. Gets down to the right working depth really quickly here. Great color profiles on them. Good hooks.
You wouldn't think with the width of this build that it would have decent castability, and it really does. Smaller profile. I do, you're taught to always get as many hooks on as you can. I don't think this one is harmed in any way by only having two hooks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It's honestly great to fish in a straight retrieve as it is to fish as a jerkbait. It gets down plenty deep. Great overall minnow profile, and the color
Good
selection.
colors on them.
They did just the good ones, and I like that.
Now in P4, something that's brand new, but I feel like I just absolutely fell in love with it when we went to Japan and tested it out in the tank.
This is something you pressed for.
Oh yeah, the Durealis Seek 85.
So the Underwalker. This is the 85 size, half ounce.
Subsurface walk the dog style bait.
Yep.
It's been out there for a while in the saltwater world, finally came over to the freshwater world. Now listen, I think it's going to be phenomenal just because I have fished this in something similar in the saltwater world before. And I think it's going to be absolutely killer, especially for freshwater where these fish just haven't seen something like this. This is the first iteration, I'd say, off a bait this style in freshwater.
Yeah, there are a couple, but not in this profile now.
This size.
Yeah, the thing that I really like about this, half ounce castability is going to be off the charts. You're going to be able to bomb this thing.
Yep.
Number 2, the shimmy fall on this is unlike most other baits I've seen. It has such an exaggerated side-to-side wobble action.
We put a couple of videos out on it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
also great on a straight retrieve, kind of just slaloms through the water.
On a straight retrieve, it just kind of comes through like this, and then when you start walking it, it really just, it's so easy to work too, man. Like, no effort at all. Great colors as well.
And then what do we have next? Then we have the Tackle Slash Kick coming in P3.
P3.
Yep.
So Slash Kick is not a new bait.
It's a new but not new bait.
It's a new to tackle, but not new to tackle.
Yes.
Yeah. Pencil poppers, crazy popular. This is one of the better versions of it, in my opinion. It's, again, extremely easy to work, and I think that's something that Tackle actually takes very seriously, is making sure that it's fun for everybody, because he's not, Hideki fishes purely for joy.
Yes, he does.
Possibly the, in the Hall of Fame for topwater anglers of all time.
Also, just bait designer. He's created so many baits.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. So he does cheeky little things like puts these feathers that, don't really, doesn't matter if they fall, it doesn't change the action of the bait, but it's just
cool.
something cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome colors, the best topwater colors. Again,
He's
build
just the
quality,
guy for topwater.
Castability, it's great.
And then in P2, we have the Nishine 95.
I'll hold it for you.
Thank you. Nishine 95 MD. Super cool little bait. You know about that little lip thing. You can tell them about that.
Yeah, so you'll see here on the, I'm trying to see if there is...
That's a little lip on the bottom of the lip.
Yeah, so on the bottom of this guy, hopefully you can see it, there's like a little bulb there on the bottom of the lip. You can actually cut that off. It's going to completely change the action of this bait. It's going to kind of unkeel it, so you should get, from what I remember seeing, now I haven't done this, I'm just going off a video I seen from Hiroshi, it will make it a little bit more erratic. Now, we'll fact check that, and if it doesn't, then we will net this part. But again, it's a great medium diving jerkbait. You want to get it down a little bit deeper, put on one of the little Nishine outer weights. Comes in a bunch of awesome colors. I obviously picked like is this walleye forward color?
That's definitely a walleye.
Yeah, walleye forward color.
That's a walleye bait I've ever seen.
Yeah, so awesome hooks, awesome size, awesome action, great. It's just a great bait overall. Nishine knocked it out of the park.
And then coming in P1, the winner is going to be the Duralis Spin Bait 70.
I'll hold that for you.
Weird. The Duralis Spin Bait 70 coming in P1.
Yeah, so Spinbait 70, a little brief history. I'm going to keep this as short as possible. Maybe about 10 years ago, Duo actually released this at an iCast. It never actually came to production. Maybe 2 years ago, I was out fishing with some of the R&D guys here in Canada. I brought up to them and I showed them that the spy bait I was actually using most of the time wasn't Duo Realis. And I pressed them into, making a little bit of a smaller profile and changing the weight, because my problem with the Duo Realis ones was the weight was always just a little bit too heavy for me when I was fishing in like 6 to 8 feet. And I like to fish these slow. That's the best way to fish a spy bait, is slow and methodical. And I really believe that that's when you get the most bites, when it's almost hurts you to fish it as slow as you need to do. They came back with one of these. We went and tested it on one of our trips. I fell in love with it. They brought it out. They knocked it out of the park completely. It has basically replaced all of my spy bait fishing, and yeah, it's honestly phenomenal.
Yep, great, perfect.
I don't think anybody could have said it better.
No, exactly. That's good.
Okay, we have about 5 or 6 left. We're going to go into viewer's choice here. So this is voted by you. We put out a vote on our Instagram channel asking you guys to share with us your favorite bait or bait combo, or
what you guys throw, what you guys catch fish on.
Something that helped you with your fishing this year. Now, we did it sort of last minute, so we only got a couple hundred submissions. And I didn't actually put out a pool because, is it called a pool or a poll?
Poll.
I didn't actually put it on a poll because I wanted everybody to have the ability to literally put in whatever they want. If they want to say a worm harness was the best thing, okay, cool. Thankfully, that wasn't the case.
No.
We got some actual cool baits in this. We're going to start with P3, so third place. It's going to be the K-Tech Fat Swing Impact. This was voted many different sizes. We actually had some people throwing out, the heads that they throw them with. Overall, this is it's been a staple forever. Easy one. I understand why you guys chose this one. I throw these a ton as well. That is, it's one of the, it's the best paddle tail swim bait.
When you start fishing, you get one of these automatically in your bag.
Yeah, and then you get bit one time and you get frustrated, but you keep buying them because you keep getting bit.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Number 2, and this is one that we also spent a lot of time using this year.
Made a lot of videos on it.
Yes, the Okashira Spark Shad combo from Megabass. Now, this is that prop head from Megabass, so it's sort of a soft plastic little spy bait. That pairing as a whole is like lights out.
Yeah.
We had
we just had a flurry every single time we went out fishing with
it was like a cleanup hitter all year. And yeah, like one that's, it's in my box for a very long time.
Got a great video for you catching a pike on it too.
You did catch a gigantic pike on it.
Yep. That is P2, and what do we have for P1?
Number 1, as voted by you, the Great Lakes Finesse Drop Minnow. So, Great Lakes Finesse. I'm just going to say 3 short things about them that I think sum them up.
Yes.
Okay? Simplicity, matte, buoyancy.
Done.
They basically take neutral buoyancy and make sure that if the bait needs to be perfectly level, it's perfectly level. They don't mess around with colors. I mean, we tried to collaborate on colors a couple times, although I think we may have finally landed on one. I have such a hard time with this brand because their color selection is such to my palate that I don't generally have a lot to offer, and I'm not going to make one just to make one.
Nope, exactly.
That paired with the matte, no shiny finish, I think is just a little bit more natural for the fish. Again, something we've talked about a lot. And then simplicity. None of their designs are like overly wacky or over the top. You look at it and you're like, oh yeah, I could literally see a fish eating that on pretty much every one of their baits. So they've done a great job, and they've kind of created a sub-market in a market where there's so much competition, but ended up not having much competition when they actually came in.
Yeah.
It's weird. Not something you see very often. So you're, as voted by you guys, the #1 bait of the year, the Great Lakes Finesse. Little drop. Oh, we didn't even say what it's for. Drop shot. Trailer for a underspin.
Ned rig.
Yeah, there's
Ball head.
Yeah, tons of stuff you can do with this. Okay, now we're gonna jump through these next ones pretty quick. I basically text all the boys this year and I said, hey, listen, what is your top 3 baits? And if you'd only have one of those 3, what would it be? I'm gonna start with Johnny. So Johnny's top 3 baits were a spy bait, typical, a dice style bait. So again, something that we spent quite a bit of time really figuring out how would fit in with our fishing here. And then a spark shad. So Ogashira spark shad.
Yep.
Johnny was actually with me when I got onto that bite initially.
He was
years ago. And it really, for him, he really hung on to. I hung on to it as well. I mean, I've never stopped throwing it.
Yeah.
His #1 out of the top 3 was the Spark Shad Okashira combo. So Johnny's top pick of the year, Spark Shad Okashira combo.
Okay.
My brother, Cody. Cody likes to throw a little bit weirder stuff. Also not a complicated fisherman. He wants to go out, chill, have a good time. He doesn't want to be ripping jerk baits or anything like that.
Cranking plugs.
Yeah, he just wants more of a chill fishing experience. He doesn't take it too seriously. It's more of a enjoyable pastime for him, and he wants to catch it on cool shit.
100%.
Right? So his top 3 is the Tackle Sharker Frog. Specifically, he gave me the colors and everything. So Wild Jaws. So this is one that is just something fun to catch. Yeah.
It's a very Cody color.
This makes sense too. Berkeley 2.5-inch tube, specifically in green pumpkin. And then the OSP Drippy, all colors. This is
his favorite lure of all time.
Doesn't stop talking about it. Every time we go, can I throw Drippy Frog there? Can I throw Drippy Frog there? The other 2 I think are probably just incidentals. If he's throwing something, it's probably a Drippy Frog as long as it's not 20 feet of water.
I was gonna say, we went 50 feet of water one day and he put that on a drop shot.
Yeah, he loves the Drippy Frog. So that is Cody's top 3. It's actually a collaboration. So the OSP Tackle collaborated Drippy Frog. And then we have Chrissy's here. So I asked Chrissy what his top 3 were. He went with a OSP Doe Live Craw, a Raid Fish Roller, and then his #1 was the Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw. Obviously for him that makes so much sense. Early season, Chris caught 3 7-pounders in one day on a Juvie Craw.
Yep.
So that's
almost back to back.
You're not going to pick Juvie.
Exactly. That makes sense.
Okay. Do you want to do yours?
I'll do mine. So for me, I have the Okashira Spark Shad.
Yep.
The Spybait 70.
Yep.
And the Doe Live Craw. We all kind of fish similar.
Yeah, you're gonna see that we all talk and
my winner is gonna be the Spinbait 70 from Durials.
And yeah, I love that.
Yours?
Okay. I have the Raid Igudama type level. I have the Smelt Head. This is Smelt. When I'm throwing a Smelt Head, I'm almost always fishing it with a bait that we don't carry from Japan, or I'm fishing it with a Easy Shiner, which Easy Shiners are a little bit easier for me to get. I can only get those other ones when we go over there. So the Smelthead Easy Shiner Convo or Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw. My winner was the Smelthead.
I've seen you catch I've netted a lot of his fish on a Smelthead.
Dude, something unlocked for me on that thing this year, and it really, I mean, dude, I watched so many guys buy Smeltheads for years, and I was like, yep, great, like, phenomenal. I don't think I actually really had, I wasn't using the right trailer, I wasn't using it the right way.
Yep.
This year, that all changed for me. The second that I got with that slim profile swim bait.
And the little trick that you have for keeping your baits on there.
Yeah, so like it wasn't like I was losing it, and if I wanted to skip it, I could. The profile of the head, how consistent it stays throughout all the size ranges, being able to throw big sizes on small hooks. There's so many positives to it. This was really like a second and third quarter of the fishing season for me that I really dove into that. I mean, early season it was all Okashira. And then, yeah, that Smelthead. The Igudama was electric for me, and then that Juvie Craw, we really did some damage with it this year. So that is my top 3 pick.
I'm excited to try that for walleye next year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be...
I think it'll be really good for walleye.
Okay. We have three things left here. Okay? So these are what I would consider to be our biggest awards.
Which one do you want to do first?
I'm gonna go strongest brand because I actually truly believe that like most innovative may be the number one thing.
Okay.
So strongest brands in fishing. Now this is, again, we carry such a small percentage of the entire fishing community.
Yep, fair.
All of the brands. This is sort of the ones for us that we saw perform very well this year. The ones that we thought made a strong presence. I mean, there's brands like that. These are brands that didn't make it. Like, I mean, you look at Nishine Lure Works came out with tons of stuff this year. Tekko came out with 3 hard baits this year.
Yeah.
Like, unreal.
3 phenomenal hard
and
baits.
Like didn't make the list. I think if this list stays similar to this going into next year, we won't do it after next year because I don't want it to be the same thing repeating. I want everybody to have a chance, and it's tough when you have mega brands like this.
Yeah, these are like big conglomerates almost.
Yeah. Okay. Strongest brands from our shop. I'm gonna go. There's 6 here because I was so torn on which ones to include. Now, this includes sales figures. This includes, things that they came out with. This includes literally every scope that you could put into this, we put into this. Now, some of these are obviously going to have advantages because of, rods and anything. Number 6, Great Lakes Finesse. Huge year for them. They came out with, what did they come out with?
A lot of incredible products for ICAST.
6 or 7 new products this year, between new sizes and actual
new colors.
Yeah, the Juvie Craw, like again, if we did top 5s of bestsellers, they would be right. They'd be close, if not in it. So Great Lakes Finesse is in P6. Duo Realis is in P5. So Duo came out with a ton of great stuff. Obviously, that Spinbait 70 is kind of propelling it. Let's not forget the Heart Bee, the Seek, all the BR stuff. They've just done a great job at continuing to help lead innovation in fishing, as well as some of their color selections are one of the best color profiles in all of fishing. P4, OSP, same thing. OSP has this year came out with a lot of great innovation, and I know some of the stuff they have coming down the pipe. Very impressive. Okay. Very excited to get it. Strong presence. I mean, the dice was, coming from the tail end of last year into this year. It was really until the Sakamata thing happened. It was like dice. Doe Live
that was fair.
Yeah, Doe Live Craw, Doe Live Beaver have been, wildly strong. And then
people are really picking up on the Doe Live Craw, Doe Live Beaver pattern.
Yeah, they're jerkbaits, the Asuras, the Durgas, the Varuna, all that has
OSP
been
Blitz.
Really, really good. And then Blitz is our number 1 selling crankbait. Number 3, Depths. If it's not the cover scat, it's a Sakamata shad. If it's, neither of those, it's the slide swimmer. Depths constantly is in your face with having one of the most hyped, high profile, hard to get baits in all of fishing. And again, they did that this year with the Sakamata shads, man. I've never seen anything like it. Like I said, they are constantly in one of those areas where It is hard to get their bait. Everybody wants it. It's catching a lot of fish, and they just do it year after year.
They're always on the back of your mind because you always need something from them.
Yeah, you're like, I mean, last year was like, oh, cover scat. Everyone wants cover scat. This year, man, we had Sakamatas sitting on the shelf last year.
Yep.
And then it was like, boom, no Sakamatas. No. But the year before, it was like, no cover scats.
Yep.
Yeah. And then like they come out with these slide swimmers and they sell it right away. I remember when the Gira came out, they sold it right away. So yeah, Depths always has strong years.
Oh yeah, they did.
Number 2, Megabass. Arguably, this is honestly, I've poured my heart and soul into learning and studying and familiarizing myself with all things Megabass. Is a brand that I like deeply wanted to be a part of my store when I first opened the store. It was something that I took very seriously. I thought it was a phenomenal grassroots brand that really took things seriously and treated their product special. And I mean, that's why they're constantly at the top. The rods are some of the best rods in the world. They have, I don't even know how many baits that are constantly circling the top 10 in fishing. Every angler throws a 110. Yep. I mean, the list goes on and on for Megabass. But from the rod perspective, extremely hard to beat. And then with just the popularity of a lot of their actual technology and soft plastics and hard baits, very tough to beat. But the only brand that I think was able to beat them this year, and I don't know if any other brand has had this sort of a year, Raid Japan.
Oh, phenomenal year for Raid.
Beyond the rods, which again, the rods have been great, Raid it felt like every month it was like, yo, those are finally they're getting released. That's coming in for Hira Tyler.
Yep.
All the ghost wires came out at the end of the year. The incredible reception of all
Bakomi
of the
Craws.
the Bakomi Craws coming out.
And the 2-ways, the 1-ways.
Yeah, the 1-ways coming out. The popularity of the 2-ways, and this is a brand that's like not actually young in Japan, but really young in North America.
Oh yeah.
We've only had Raid in our shop for 2.5 years, and already the fish roller is our number 1 selling soft bait. Raid, again, is one of those brands that I can see the forecast of what's coming, and I'm extremely excited for the continued growth. And it's a brand that I've really fallen in love with. Basically most of ours, if not our favorite, at least right there, brand in the store.
100%.
And one that we like to showcase to you guys a lot. It's just a cool brand.
It's a very cool brand.
For a brand that specializes specifically in bank fishing, that's where their like grassroots is bank fishing. Man, do they ever make some sick baits for fishing in any style. So strongest brand of the year, Raid Japan, Megabass, then Depths. Like I said, hopefully this changes. I think the last 3 years would have been Megabass.
Yeah, probably.
Crazy, man.
Yep.
Okay, so this is, again, in my opinion, it's the hardest one to get, I think, because innovation in fishing is very...
From everything that gets copied, like the amount of things that get copied in the fishing industry.
So to find something that's original or to fix a problem in a current product is extremely hard to do. To be the most innovative in any product category is extremely hard to do, especially with, like, there's not new sources of food for fish.
No.
Like, they're eating craw, they're eating bait fish.
Yeah, exactly. They're eating a fish, they're eating a crawfish.
And they're eating bugs.
That's it.
Realistically, there's not and worms. Like, there's not really...
Also a bug.
I know. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can't just, like, introduce, like...
A burger.
Exactly. Yeah. They'd probably eat it, though.
Probably.
So, to innovate in fishing is very hard. Most innovative, I'm going to go with number 5, the Orochi X10. I actually think that Megabass with this new...
technology and rod blanks is... Number 1, they're creating something sustainable.
Yes.
Because it's a sustainable product.
Which is important.
Right? Number 2, it is allowing a singular rod to now have multiple purposes, while at the same time being very good at its intended technique.
Yep.
And then number 3, it's something that's never been done before in the fishing industry.
Yeah, and it's a great lineup.
It's a great lineup. It is something new.
I think they really did a good job at picking actions and how the rods feel. I think for some people, it's almost like I wish I had a day to take every single person that's ever looked at the rod out on the water, because the second they're in your hand and how they fish, there's a somewhat of a disconnect.
Yep.
They fish so much better than they feel, in my opinion.
100%
And that's not
they do.
saying that they don't feel good.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
They
It just
just-
feels different because it's new technology. People aren't used to feeling something
They're
new.
used to graphite, or they're used
Exactly.
to glass, whatever
Yep.
it may be. But yeah, that's going to be number 5. Number 4 is going to be the Tackle Max Squeaker. Now, this might be something that everyone's like, oh, what does that matter? If you fish around, I mean, where we fish, there's so much grass die off in certain times of the year. It is literally impossible to throw certain topwaters. Now, this is going to seem like I'm like micromanaging here, but this is really a real thing. So every single buzz bait is like this, okay? So if you look here at the end of the blade, the way that they keep this blade on is to bend the wire up, right? So this is gonna have a bent wire. Every buzzbait has that. Tackle figured out a way with this sort of ball. That's not a ball. It's like a, I don't know. It's like
a spinny thing.
it's almost like a knurled internal little lockdown system where if you look at the end here, because it's threaded, the end is straight. That is not going to pick up any grass. The only place I ever seem to pick up grass on a buzzbait is on that little J hook. Megabass actually does a decent job. Their hook isn't bent over like some of the other ones. Some of them are 90 and it just picks up grass and run anything. It's just instantaneously on there, waste of a cast.
Yep.
The Tackle, it does not pick that up. It's also squeaky out of the box. I mean, how many videos have you guys seen, or how many times have you zip tied this to the truck, or
yep.
held it out the truck to make it squeaky?
Put it underwater.
This is literally out the box, sounds exactly as it should.
Broken in.
Yeah, so for that reason, number 4. Okay, number 3. So this is bronze medal. The Dual Realis Harpy. Now, this looks like, it kind of honestly looks like a topwater popper.
Yep.
But basically what this is a prop, it's like a spy bait that allows water to come in through the mouth. It spins the prop, and it's just so cool, man. They're kind of dominant in this overall category. It makes a great sound. It's unique. It's different from what they're
Cool tail on it. Yeah.
hearing. Yeah, completely different tail. You can either fish it rounded or you can cut it and fish a little bit different. Comes in great colors, easy to fish, great for BFS, super slow sinking. So in super shallow water situations, this thing has been really clutch. It has great drawing power for something that's really subtle in the water, man. But
Also works really best just subsurface.
yeah, basically you're fishing this just subsurface, like he said, and it's just, again, intaking water in through the mouth, and then it's spinning this little blade at the bottom. It's really, really cool. Something new and unique that hasn't been done before, so it's pretty easy to put this one on.
And then in P2,
Yeah, so number 2 is the Iramaki shad. So this is a bait by OSP that, man, when we first seen this thing, I was like, what the heck is this?
I remember when we were there.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
first saw this thing, we're like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then it gets explained to you, like, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so basically, like, a lot of guys are fishing these on ball heads. It's obviously fishable and drop shot. It's a very versatile bait. I'm just gonna keep it like that.
Also good topwater bait.
Yeah, so you'll see it. I mean, realistic eyes, number 1. It's gonna have a couple segments here on the back tail. It's just for like a little bit of micro vibration, if anything. It doesn't really do a whole lot. The skirt or the scarf that they have here, that's kind of the key. That's kind of what gives it anything that it has. Tinsel tail obviously is great, but this will, if you're fishing it on the surface, you can kind of fish it as like a
popper
style. It's not really a popper. It doesn't actually ever spit like a popper, but popper style. The cool thing is that when you're fishing this on a drop shot, which is my preferred way to fish it, when you get into key areas, you don't want to move the bait off those areas. Now, I don't care, I personally try not to move the bait as much as I can. Sometimes you just get a little antsy and you're shaking it and you're moving it around. That scarf or skirt, it's actually, I think it translates, Iramaki translates to scarf. That really, really helps to keep that bait locked into whatever target you're on. You know, even if I'm shaking it, it's not really coming forward because this is actually pushing back against the water. It gives it great action as well. It's just a cool, unique thing. And the great thing about OSP, 10-year standard. So I know it's going to be around for a long time. It's a great bait from them. In general, love seeing new stuff. 2.3 inch, so little small profile, a little bit longer with that tinsel tail. The tinsel would probably take it over 3 inches, but just an overall awesome bait. All right, coming in at the #1 spot, in our opinion, the most innovative bait of 2024, the Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw. There's not a crazy amount to say about this thing other than it is instantaneously become a fish catcher in a lot of people's arsenal. Now, there's other craw style tube stuff out there. Nothing really quite like this. So again, obviously it's a tube. Tubes, man, it's like a tube has been a tube forever.
Yeah, 40 plus years be the same thing.
Yeah, so like there's been like slight little modifications, like someone put a tube and then put claws on it. Okay, works good, sounds good. Solid core tubes, all that stuff. But to actually take a tube profile and make it into a craw style bait, like, I mean, if you just rig this up on like a football head, it's still like applicable. Now, you wouldn't do that because it's a great tube bait, but that's not the only reason that makes this thing so great. Now, there's enough, whatever the buoyant stuff that they put in here, to make this thing stand up just a little bit naturally on certain colors. And then the bottom is also flat. It pairs up perfectly with their mini tube head, so it gives it a perfect profile. When you have the A and B to something, making it all come together is really easy. The bottom is very flat, so it comes up over stuff really easily. That tube head already came up over everything great.
Also stays flat, it doesn't roll on its side.
Exactly.
Keeps that hook point right on top there.
Yep. You have these grooves, which, I mean, some people will say that it'll keep scent better. They actually don't put scent in their bait, which I like. You can apply your own scent after, but some people say it will keep your scent better. Some people say that it's, you know, for moving a little bit of water. I don't know about that. I just think it feels a little bit more natural in the fish's mouth. Like, you know, craw aren't smooth flat when they bite them. There's a little bit of texture, and if they have any, I mean, they feel with their mouth. So I have to assume that they have some sort of connection there. So this is going to feel really natural. Also, something that they did, if you want to fish this weedless, they've actually doubled the plastic in the head. So if you go to hook your tube hook in the head to keep it weedless, it's not going to tear out. And that's another thing with these, ultra durable. It's tough to beat a profile like that. It has caught so many absolute giants this year. I mean,
also like a nice little slit in the top here by the antenna, so your hook always stays up straight.
Excellent point. Yeah, so
the claws don't rip off after one fish.
The claws don't rip off, but yeah, like he said, in between these tennas, that's the perfect spot to put your hook, so you know that it's center every single time. They've carefully thought through everything that you could possibly want, and then colors. I mean, another one of those frustrating things with them is like, I have nothing to add to this. They've already done the colors. If someone's adding a color, they're just adding it at this point, really to add a color, which, I mean, if I ever come up with something cool, we'll do it, but I don't foresee us putting a color into this thing anytime soon. Most innovative bait, 2024, the Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw. And that's going to do it for us this year. We had an amazing year. I think fishing had, beyond all the bullshit and drama that everybody stirred up about scope, not scope, you know, the only thing you can catch them on is a jig head minnow. You know what? We went out and caught them pretty much any way we wanted to all year and had an absolute blast. My suggestion to everybody for 2025 is get back to fishing, man. All that other stuff doesn't matter. This is meant to be fun. This is, you know, one of the greatest pastimes to spend with your family, your friends, by yourself if you're into that. You know, there's no better days than when you're on the water, you know, chasing around these elusive,
majestic fishes.
Yeah, these beautiful brown and green fish. But yeah, I would just say, you know, go into 2025 with 2024 drama staying in 2024. I think fishing is such a beautiful sport, and I don't want it to be
tainted.
To be ruined by shit like that. So thank you guys for coming along with the journey. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. I want to see what all these amazing companies can come out with, and we look forward to talking to you guys, teaching you guys stuff, and just going
Come
fishing.
along for the ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.